Okay, well, hello everyone. It's me, Profesor Cañedo here, and first off, just want to say again, welcome to the class, welcome to the second the second half of the semester, the second 8 week session, and I'm definitely happy to be with you guys for these next 8 weeks, and I hope that you enjoy the class. So you already got a sense of what El Profesor is all about with my introduction video, which I recorded back in January. But this video is new. It's fresh, and this will be the first of several of these nuts and bolts videos in which I talk about various elements of the class. I anticipate having about at least five, maybe about five more videos, including this one for these next few weeks. And since spring break is coming up very soon, when we come back from spring break, I'll have two videos for you in which I talk about how the discussion forums sections works, and then I also have a video about the U.S.-Mexico War Summit, which is your first major writing assignment that you'll have for the class. Oh, and also too, I also have a video about the Chicano Time Traveler Journal section. So I'll definitely have that for you in the that is in the second week of the session as well. So quite a lot of videos coming up on the horizon after spring break. But in this video, let me just give you a panorama of what the class is all about. And to do that, I'm using the Camtasia software that I've got right here on my MacBook Air. So you won't be seeing me, unlike unlike the introduction video in which I'm talking from my car at the parking lot of Thornton Winery into Temecula. But in this one, of course, you're hearing me. But the main thing is that you're seeing everything that's on the computer screen. So let me quickly go over everything here, and of course, over the next few weeks, I'll have more detailed descriptions about many of the other elements of the class. And like I said, after spring break, I'll talk more about the discussion boards, the Chicano Time Traveler Journal assignment, and also, of course, the first major writing assignment, the U.S.-Mexico War Summit. So those are the next three nuts and bolts videos are coming up, and those will be coming up very soon after spring break. All right, well, you've already seen the homepage right now. So right now, this first week of the session, this will take you when you go into class, you'll see me. This is taken, of course, not in San Diego. Obviously, you can see, of course, by my winter attire, and of course and of course the Capitol there in the background. So I was in Washington D.C. a couple of years ago for a conference, right in the midst of the polar vortex. Definitely not a fun time to travel. It's definitely quite an experience getting to D.C. I probably have to have a separate video, which I tell you about that interesting adventure. But this will be what you'll be seeing for the remainder of the first week, and then the second week you'll be directed to announcements. So let me quickly show you the announcements section here. So of course these are the announcements that you've seen already so far for this first week, and of course my welcome video, which came on the second day of the session, of course on Tuesday. All right, let me quickly go over the syllabus here. I won't go into too much detail here. I think you've already seen what the syllabus is all about, but I'll just quickly point out some of the highlights here. And this video was actually, and this photo is definitely a bit more of an older one. I think I took this in 2011 actually, when I was in Detroit at the Detroit Institute of Arts, looking at the Diego Rivera epic murals on Detroit industry. We'll have a PowerPoint program about Rivera's work coming up much later on the session. But of course, as you go through the syllabus, the basic information about course policies, attendance, the best way to contact me. Right now, the best way to reach me is please get in the habit of using messages for Professor. You don't need to contact me at my email anymore, my SDCCD email address. I want to reserve that specifically for school information, for division information, messages from my colleagues, whether it's Dr. Lopez, Professor Velez, or from Dean Zapia. But definitely for the rest of the session, please use message for Professor to contact me about any particular class item, concern, or question you might have as the session unfolds. All right, we keep scrolling through the through the syllabus here. Of course, you've got the two books Beyond 1840, which has a red cover. which was edited by my friend and colleague here at Mesa College, Professor Ornella. So definitely get that. And Crucible of Struggle, which will be essentially the main go-to text for the entirety of the semester. You've already got some readings going on this week that I've got indicated in the syllabus. And we'll be using that book in its entirety for the rest of the session. So just these two books. If you don't have them now, please make sure you get them. Definitely get them in time for the in time for the second. If you get them during spring break, that'd definitely be even better. Okay, a little bit of the course requirements and the catalog and description. Our learning objectives, student learning outcomes, what we hope to accomplish during the course of the class, plagiarism, accessibility, etiquette guidelines, just basic guidelines with respect to San Diego Community College district policy. And then, of course, here is where we get into the nitty-gritty, the nuts and bolts about the class, information about the quizzes, the Chicano Time Traveler Journal, U.S.-Mexico War Assignment, EBSCO assignment, Chicano Literature Review assignment, and the Chicano Video Review assignment, and student participation. Course grading structure, I'm going to be using a weighted total column, in which the in which you're not going to be graded on your total points in the class. So please, everybody, right off the bat, don't try to add up all your points. I think that's going to be your total grade. So if you say you have 1145 points, you think that's going to be no. You think that's going to be an A? No, that's not going to be the way it works. It's a weighted total column, which essentially means that I take the total amount of points, what that item is worth. In this case, the average score of your best 7 quizzes. I take that, multiply that by the percentage that it's worth within the class, and then I do the same thing with the other elements of the class. I add those up, and this comes into a scale, into a percentage which approaches 100%. So it's on the 100% scale in which your grades will be based on. But when we get closer to the end of the session, around the first second week of May, I'll definitely talk a lot more about how that process is going to unfold. Here is the breakdown of what each item is worth in terms of percentages, and here, of course, is the schedule of topics from now all the way until the end of the session. And right now, this first week, you've already got, of course, some readings in both Beyond 1848, the Crucible of Struggle book, and some PDF articles and PowerPoint, which you'll find in the learning modules. I'll show you that area in just a bit, and also the first film on the Gold Rush. So I'll show you where to get the Gold Rush film if you haven't tracked it down already. Here's the information about the schedule with respect to dates. From April all the way into the end of until the end of the session, and of course everything wraps up around about a week and a half before Memorial Day. So May 16th or 20th, that's the final week of the session, and here are some of the topics, and of course all the due dates here. Okay, let me go to quickly show you what the learning modules look like, and then I'll go over into the assignment section, talk a little bit about the quizzes, and then discussion forums and Chicano Time Traveler Journal. I won't say too much about that right now. What I will say is that Chicano Time Traveler Journal, this is something that you're going to be doing on a bi-weekly basis, in which basically you're going to go back in time and visit certain points of modern Chicano history. So, for example, your first due date, because there are 4 due dates during the course of the session, and each due date corresponds to the previous 2 weeks time. So, for example, the first due date, which will take place after the second week, so it'll be on the Monday of the third week. I'll clear up the dates in just a little bit later. I think I've got the mistaken date right now, but I'll definitely clear that up, but before too long. But the first Chicano Time Traveler due date corresponds to what we've covered in the first 2 weeks of the session. So, for example, one of the first topics we're looking at is the U.S.-Mexico War, and let's say you want to go back in time and visit with General Scott or General Taylor, one of the American generals, of course, during that time, fighting against Mexican forces in that particular time. So if you're riding with General Scott as he and his men are moving from Puebla into Mexico City, you can document. You can just write about the the mood of the troops, the morale, what General Scott's strategy is, what he hopes to accomplish, things of that nature. In other words, you're to engage in creative writing and in other words, try to put yourself back at that moment in time in Chicano history. But like I said, everybody, I'll have more information about this coming up in the second week. I just want to give you a sense in terms of what that is all about. And then discussion forums. I've got the class already split up into 3 discussion groups. I'll give you more information about what you need to do with the discussion forums coming up when we return from spring vacation. So for the second week of the session. But let me show you right now. The main thing I want to show you right now is the learning modules. I'll show you what that's all about, and then I'll quickly point out the assignments, and then I'll go ahead and wrap things up. Wrap things up here. Okay. In terms of the readings and the topics and the scope of each week, you go into the learning module section. I've got everything already broken down by bi-weekly topics from, of course, this week in March until the week of May 16th through May 16th through 20th. So let's open up the first week right here, and immediately when you go into the module, you see what I call a module overview. Basically, I tell you what the best way to approach your readings. That is how because the readings are all over the map, so to speak. There's really no centralized order in terms of reading everything. These overview essays, which I have at the beginning of each module, tell you the best way to approach these readings. And when we get into the second week's readings, I actually have some videos that will go along with, which will accompany these. So whether you're a more of an auditory listener, auditory learner, and you like to hear the professor tell you exactly what you need to do, I'll have that for you coming up in the second week. Or if you prefer to read what it is you have to do for the week, then I've got you covered. I've got you covered right here. So unfortunately, I don't have a video for you for this week's readings, but for second week readings after spring break, I'll of course tell you much more about the about the weekly topics. Okay, so every first page of each module has this overview essay. So then when you go over to the other pages, whether it's page 2 or page 3, here's where the more of the nuts and bolts, the guts, so to speak, of each module are located. Here for week 1, of course, I tell you what the textbook readings are. So of course, make sure you've got the Crucible of Struggle and Beyond 1948 right off the bat. The PowerPoint program, click the link right here and it'll download the program about the Chinese. I've got PDF articles here, so click these to download these 2 PDF articles, and I've got your first film already queued up here. So you can watch the film here if you want, but it's really a tiny screen. But all you really need to do is just open up the film, and of course click the YouTube banner right here on the bottom right to open it up to get more of a full view, more of a theater view, or watch the film in YouTube itself. So first week, right off the bat, there's the film about the Gold Rush. Check it out as soon as possible. And for a detailed film transcript in PDF format, click here, and that downloads too. So some modules have 3 pages. Maybe I think there's a couple that go upwards of 4, but for the most part, there are at least 2 pages per module. The first page tells you what the module is all about in terms of the best way to approach the reading, and page 2 gives you the main items to look at, whether it's PDF, PowerPoint, or also the movies. Okay, let's see what else I should go on to. Oh, let me go ahead and move on into the assignments section. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And I think that should pretty much wrap things up for this. Oh, and I want to quickly point out the chat area here. I'll quickly talk about that to wrap up this video. Okay, the U.S.-Mexico War assignment. Since the U.S.-Mexico War is one of the first major topics we have for the class, this first assignment is due on Friday, April 22nd, so that'll put us in the end of the 4th week. I've got a video to tell you about this assignment, so more details coming up about that soon. And then I've got a video about the EBSCO article review assignment, which you go into the Mesa College Library databases. You don't have to go on campus to do that. Just access a database right here from your laptop, from your desktop, or maybe even from your tablets. And I'll have a link for you. I'll have a video a video in which I talk more about how this assignment works. Chicano literature review assignment. I don't think I need to make a video for you about this here. But in this one right here, you just choose a novel pertaining to the scope of modern Chicano history. Of course, there's classic works by Rodolfo Anaya, Sandra Cisneros, Victor Villas Señor, Jose Antonio Villarreal, many others over the years, whether they're legendary authors or more contemporary. The choice is yours. So if there's a book you want to read that's within the scope of Chicano literature, definitely let me know what it is, and go ahead and get to it. This isn't due until mid May, so you got plenty of time to work on it. But at this point in time, I definitely recommend that you think about what you want to work on. Oh, and of course, before I forget, if you click these attached files right here, these things give you more detailed information in PDF format about how the assignment works. So definitely make sure you download all of these as soon as possible if you haven't done so already, and look them over, and they tell you everything you need to know about the assignments. But like I said, for at least three of these, at least three of these assignments, I'll have some videos in which I give you more detailed description about what you need to do. And the last writing assignment that's going to be due on Friday, May 20th, is the Chicano video review assignment. We're going to actually watch. Well, let me back up a little bit. 20 years ago, PBS ran a great series about the path of the Chicano movement, that is the Mexican American civil rights movement. Unfortunately, this film is now a little bit older. It's getting a little bit dated. It's over 20 years old, but it still holds up quite well. It's still quite valid, still quite useful, and we're going to watch one part of that series of 4 here in the class. But there are 3 other parts that we're not going to be watching in the class. So what your job is to watch one of those 3 remaining parts. And then do a video review. Review about that particular. Do a video review about that particular episode. That's what I tried to say. And I'll have a separate video about this coming up, probably around the 3rd or probably around the 4th week of the session. That video will be ready. So definitely for 3 of these assignments, I will have nuts and bolts videos. The U.S.-Mexico article review, the EBSCO assignment, and the Chicano video review, but I don't think I'll make one for the Chicano literature review. I think if you just read the PDF instructions, that'll tell you everything you need to know about the assignment. Okay, let's see what else I should mention. Okay, the quizzes. Quizzes will open up on Fridays. They'll go on a Friday to Monday schedule. So when you're ready to take a quiz, just go ahead and go in here and get going on it. When you take a quiz, you have a 2.5-hour timer in which to take the quiz. The timer doesn't stop, so please, if you take a break to go get some coffee or use the restroom, you can do that, but get back to your quiz immediately. If you pause the quiz, the timer will not stop. So please make sure you have a 2.5-hour window in which you're taking the quiz, and make sure that any breaks you take, limit them to no more than maybe 5-10 minutes most, but then get back to your quiz immediately, because like I said, the timer does not stop whenever that is when you start any of the quizzes. The timer does not stop, is what I try to say. Okay, let me see what else I should mention here. Oh, last thing I'll mention right now, chat. Starting during the 2nd week, so we're coming back from spring break, I will reserve Thursday nights for chat sessions. So if you need to talk to me about any key issue about the class, just go into the chat area. I'll have the chat sessions from about 8 to 9:15 Thursday nights. Just make sure you have the latest installment of Java on your computer. I don't think Java works very well on mobile devices, so please don't try to access chat if you're using an iPhone or a Galaxy or an iPad. I don't think it'll work very well. So the best device to use in which you want to use chat is of course a computer, whether it's a desktop or a laptop. Just make sure you have the latest version of Java installed, and you're good to go. And like I said, so it'll be Thursday nights starting the 2nd week of the session, in which I'll have those chat sessions going. In fact, let me quickly open it up, show you what the area looks like. Okay. Oh, all right. I'm going to change it. So it says coming. I'm going to change it to Profesor's chat area or Profesor's live lounge or something to that effect. So something to that effect. So I will change the name of this very very soon, and I'll change the setting to chat. So so don't worry about the names right now. This will definitely be fixed up and ready to go in time for the second week of the session. And I think that's pretty much all I need to cover right now. I just want to give you a sense of some of the main elements, some of the main nuts and bolts about the class. But like I said, for a lot of these other elements about the class, there will be more specific videos. And like I said, when we come back from spring break, that second week for sure, I will have videos about the discussion forum sections and also about the Chicano Time Traveler Journal sections. Most likely, these will be videos that I've used in the previous semester that I taught the class in the fall of 2014. So I'll have some of those videos, but I'll make some new ones too. So it'll be a mixture of some older videos and newer videos, but for the most part, the information will be the same. It'll tell you everything you need to know about some of these more specific elements about the class. All right, everybody. So that's it. Haven't had a chance to see your introductions yet, but I'll definitely get to that soon before spring break gets rolling. Hope you're liking the class so far, and look forward to talking to not just meeting you in the discussion forums area, but of course when the discussion forums kick in, I will definitely talk to you a lot more on a more one-on-one basis when we get to that part of the class. All right, everyone. So that's it. Again, I'm excited to be with you guys for these next 8 weeks, and I look forward to talking to you guys very soon. And definitely have a great spring break coming up in just a few days.